All right, we've got a great episode tonight, guys. It's a special edition episode of Harmony and Hustlin. I'm your host, Stargirl, and today our guest is Mr. Charles Butler. Episode title is 43 Years Stolen, Truth, Survival, and Justice Denied. What's up, family, and welcome back to Harmony and Hustlin, the podcast where we talk about life, resilience, and the hustle it takes just to survive systems that were never really built for us. Today's episode is different. Today's episode may be heavy, but today's episode is necessary. This isn't about chasing a dream or building a brand. This is about having your entire life taken from you and still finding the strength to speak your truth. Our special guest today, Mr. Charles Butler, is a man who spent 43 years wrongfully accused and convicted of murder that he did not commit. A man whose case is deeply tied to the corruption within the Rampart Division of the LAPD. A man who was apprehended by the police and was shot and somehow lived.
Yes.
And only to be locked away for decades. This is a story about racial injustice, about poverty in America's courtroom, and about a justice system that fails, and what it means to lose everything: family, freedom, time, and still stand and survive. Charles is here to tell his story in his own words. Family asks you to listen, not to judge, not to interrupt, but to truly, truly hear him out. Charles, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I want to do my little intro. So, Charles, what was life for you before prison?
I thought I had it going on. I thought I was the man back then. I did. Yes. You couldn't tell me nothing back then.
That's right.
Because I had property, I had jobs, I had work. You know, I was always on the road because I was a trucker.
Yeah, you were thriving. Truckers made. My dad was a trucker, so I know you made good money. Well, yeah.
I was an owner-operator is what they call us. I had 2 diesels.
Oh, owner-operator. Got you.
Yes.
Got you.
At that time.
Wow.
But,
what year was this? How young were you at that time?
Beg your pardon?
How young were you at that time? What year was this?
I don't know. It was about 30-something, 36, 37, somewhere around there.
Wow.
I know I was in my 30s. I try not to keep up with age.
Yeah, you look great. It's good to see you. You look sharp, and here you got your cross on. I like the jacket and the shoes. You're sharp. You're sharp, as my dad would say. So you said you had property. You had diesels. You were doing your thing. Like you said, no one could tell you nothing. How did you find yourself in this predicament?
Oh, that's the story right
Because
there.
I'm sure before this, you had dreams of your own, right?
Oh, yes. I was doing it. I was doing my dream. I was living my dream.
You had children?
Yes. I have 2 girls.
Yeah. So you were living the so-called American dream.
Oh, yes.
And you had dreams of your own and everything, and then just...
Well, what had happened...
what happened was... No. Trying to make light of it, but I know, it's...
Okay, it's pretty hectic. But there was this guy that my nephew brought to me and told me that he needs some money because he was down on his luck and what have you. So I told him, well, hey, I'll give you an advance.
Right.
I gave him an advance, and I told him I'll see him in 2 weeks. Okay? He agreed to it. So the 2 weeks went by, and I knock on his door. He stayed in an apartment building where you have doors on both sides in the hallway.
Oh, yeah.
One of them closed-in apartments.
Okay.
And I knock on his door, and no one answers. So
them 2 weeks came, and he didn't want to pay up.
Right. So I knock again. No one answers. But I hear this door on the right-hand side of me open. And I look, and it's this little old white lady. She was 61 years of age, I found out. But now she steps out, and she says, they're not here right now, but they should be here soon. Would you care to wait for them over here? I said, well, why not? Because I stayed in the Valley at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And he stayed over on Ardmore and 3rd over that way.
Okay, I know where that's at.
So other than me driving all the way back, I said, why not? So she left her front door open because you can see out in the hallway then. And I going to sit on her sofa, and I hear some keys. And I say, oh, that must be them. So I get up and I walk to the door and I look, and it was them. But they had already went in. So I knocked on the door again.
Like, hey, man, where my money at?
No.
What's up, partner?
She came to the door, his girlfriend or wife or whoever she was.
Uh-huh.
She came to the door, and she says, I said, is Mark here? She says, well, just a moment. So she leaves the door. He comes to the door. When he comes to the door, I ask him, I say, hey, you got that? He said, no, I ain't got it right now. And I grabbed him by his collar. I don't know what possessed me to do it.
The fact that he owed you money and...
But I grabbed him by his collar, and I says, so-and-so, give me my money. So-and-so.
Fill in the blank.
And he whips out a knife.
Ooh.
When he whipped out the knife, I just pushed him back. Man, forget that little chump change, sucker. And I bounced.
Right.
Okay? A year later, after that incident, a year later, I go to a friend of mine's apartment, and somehow or another...
Was it in that area, your friend?
Yes, the same area.
Oh, okay.
But I go to his apartment, and I'm in his living room.
Right.
And he owed me some money as well.
You was a truck driver when people weren't doing like you was doing at the time.
But now he goes out, he says, well, let me go downstairs to get the money. Okay, well, I sit on his sofa and I'm waiting for him. But there's a window right beside me.
And what year was this?
This was 84.
So 84, just to let people know, this was a time where you could do that. You could wait at a neighbor's house for someone else. Someone could tell you, hey, have a seat here and hang tight. There were no cell phones. There were landlines.
Right.
I don't even think there were pagers. So let me just paint that little picture for you. I'm sorry, continue.
Yes.
So the other guy owes you money.
So he says he's going downstairs to get it. Okay, well, go ahead. I sit and wait. So I'm sitting on this sofa, on this little chair. It's a chair right beside the window.
Uh-huh.
And when he comes back in, I look behind him and I see 4 feet behind him, 4 legs behind him. And I stood up like, what the hell's going on here?
Is there a dog?
You know, what the hell's going on here? And I stood up. And when I stood up, the guy stepped from behind the guy, and he's got a pistol in his hand. And he tells me, sit down. I look at him, I said, man, what? I'm still standing up. I said, oh, man, what the hell's going on here? No, and pow, he just fired. When he fired, I'm thinking, damn, and it ricocheted off me right there. Okay, I still got the bruise right there on my arm. It went past. I said, oh, what the? And then I hear another shot. I said, oh, hell, he's trying to kill me. And I just turned and jumped out the window. But when I jumped and I hear the glass breaking and all, I think about I'm on the 2nd floor.
Oh.
But he's still shooting. One hit me in the spine, one hit me in the leg, and another on the shoulder. Okay? So when I hit the ground, I black out. When I come to, I'm laying up in the hospital with tubes and stuff all in me, and the police is sitting next to me.
Okay, you're thinking it's in regards to you being shot. You're like, I'll tell you guys everything, officer.
So,
I'm saying they shot me. That was happening. Yeah, heck yeah.
So he's sitting there, and when I come to, I'm still a little daisy and all, but he asked me, he says, do you know Mary Jane? And I look at him like, yeah. That's, I'm thinking, yeah, I know her because she was my ex-wife. That was her name.
Oh, that's her name.
Okay,
that's
that was
a common
her name, Mary Jane.
Yeah.
So I said, yeah, I know her. It says, have you ever had sex with her and whatever? Yeah, what you talking about? I didn't say that's my ex-wife. I said, yeah. So he kept talking. He kept asking me questions and what have you. When he finally got to all his questions.
First of all, they shouldn't have asked you shit in your condition, in my opinion.
But I was thinking that someone where I was at got killed.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
They shouldn't have asked you anything with tubes coming out of you and you just coming out of a traumatic
Yeah,
thing.
but I didn't. I didn't do anything wrong, so I didn't have anything to hide.
Of course you didn't.
So
But what I'm
talking.
arguing is, and what I don't like in law enforcement, and I'm a nurse too.
Uh-huh.
Okay. They question you while you're out of it. You probably got morphine in you and pain meds. So you could have said, yeah, Mary Jane, that's my dog from when I was 7. You could have said anything. So that's just the
Yes.
point I'm trying to make, that
Okay.
that was already fucked.
Yes.
Excuse my French.
Okay,
So they ask you, sorry.
So they ask, after they finish asking me, they says, well, we're going to charge you with murder. I say, what?
Híjole.
Who?
Híjole la chingada madre, no.
They says, Mary Jane. I said, Mary Jane? No, what you talking about? I said, well, yeah, where that come from? He tells me, the officer sitting next to me, he tells me, he says, do you know Mark Hubbard? I said, yeah, I know him.
Tell him run me my money.
He says, yes, well, we spoke to Mark because we found Mary Jane dead in her apartment. The little old lady that came out.
Then talk to Mark. That's the neighbor. No.
They found her in her living room, face down on the sofa, on her sofa, with throw up and blood coming out of her mouth or whatever. She was face down in it when they found her. Okay? So they was looking for him for a year to ask him if he knew anything about her death. When they found him, they find him in Richmond, California, in jail for some burglary or something that he had done. They asked him if he knew anything about her death. Supposedly, he told them that he asked me if I killed her. My response was supposed to be, the old white bitch got what she deserves.
No motive. What was the motive? Why would a successful person versus a man who's already in jail for burglary probably has a rap sheet by this time? You probably don't. What?
But what it says is that says, where's all this coming from? What no, that's all fake. That's all false. That I haven't spoke to Mark. I haven't seen Mark. Nothing like that, but I thought about it afterwards. All this time, I had time enough to think about all this.
Yeah.
I thought about it. The reason he did that is because he thought that maybe I had someone trying to get him for my funds. But now here's the catch to the whole thing. They tell me they're going to charge me with murder, rape, robbery, and burglary. Okay? Wait a minute. Where's all this coming from? They booked me. When I was in the hospital, they booked me. Okay?
So
They
at this
gave me a no
this
bail.
point in time, you've been shot. You possibly have a head injury that sucks because you jumped
I did
out of
have
a
a head
window.
injury.
I'm a nurse. I know. I've seen patients. I know. And they are proceeding to
Yes.
question you and give you this shocking information while you're still in bed under the care in a hospital.
Okay.
And this is all not even circumstantial. They don't even have circumstantial.
No. That's all I can tell you is what they told me. What they had, I didn't know. Okay? I didn't know any of that.
Because they're asking
But
Mark.
I stopped talking to them after they said that. Okay, I just stopped.
I need a lawyer.
Okay, now, here it is. When it comes time to go to court, because they gave me a no bail. I didn't have a bail. I couldn't bail out. None of that. I had to stay there until I went to court and what have you. But at court, they tell the jury, they says, look, we have a witness against Mr. Butler. But when he comes into this courtroom, he's going to lie.
What the fuck is that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
That's comedy.
This is what they tell the jury. He's going to come into this courtroom and he's going to lie.
He's going to lie under oath.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a
Yes.
credible witness still.
Yes.
Because he's
but
going to lie
we
under
don't want you to believe what he testifies to. We want you to believe what the detectives wrote he said.
Of course, because this is the
Okay. Not
Rampart
only do
Division.
we want you to believe what the detectives wrote, he said, but you can use that as direct evidence against me. Okay.
There's so many
He
things wrong with
comes
that.
into court, he gets on the stand, and they ask him, "Did you speak to Mr. Butler and ask Mr. Butler if he killed this woman?" He says, "No." He says, "I didn't even see Mr. Butler after they found her dead." Didn't you tell us that you asked him and his response was the old white bitch got what she deserves?
They're using the climate at the time. What was it, 1985 by that time?
Yes.
So they're absolutely
Yes.
using the climate. We're not stupid, okay?
So-
They're using the racial climate at the time with black and white people, which was really blown out of proportion. But they're using that to this jury that watches the news and TV. Go on. I'm sorry.
Okay, so he says, "No, I didn't say that. The detectives told me if I confirm what they wrote, that he can get out of jail sooner."
Mm-hmm.
This is all testimony, transcript, record. All I know about it is in the transcripts.
Yeah.
Okay, so they tell him, after they told the jury what they told him, and he testified that he didn't see me even after they found that woman dead. So how could I have answered his questions, or he asked me questions? He says, and he wouldn't have asked me anyway because I had to pull a knife on him. So he wouldn't have told me anything anyway. This is all in the transcripts.
Yeah, I'm evading him. I owe him some cash.
Yes.
There was I pulled.
He wouldn't answer. He wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah, you know.
So make a long story.
But he tells the jury everything he says is a lie. By the way,
Yeah.
guys.
Now, they said that the cause of death of this lady, they asked the pathologist when she took the stand, they asked her, what was the cause of death of this 61-year-old lady, white lady? The pathologist answer was ligature strangulation.
Okay, you need a ligature to strangulate.
Ligature strangulation meaning a rope, a belt, or something.
A cord, anything.
Yeah,
ligature.
a cord, something like that, yes. So they ask her, they say, well, how did you determine it was ligature strangulation as opposed to manual strangulation? Her response was, I based that on the absence of injury.
That doesn't
The
make
judge
sense.
yells out, wait a minute, you mean to tell me there was nothing there?
Yeah.
Her response was, no, there was no bruises, no marks, no scrapes, no broken vessels.
Wow. So if it's ligature or even manual strangulation or even mechanical, there would be bruises. There
It's going to
would be
leave some kind of
ligature
mark
marks
on a Caucasian woman.
On a white woman.
Okay.
On her skin, a frail 61-year-old white woman, definitely. So it could have been mechanical swallow or anything like that.
She based that call, though, on the absence of an injury. I have never. How can you base the cause of a person's death on the absence of an injury?
And typically when it's a ligature mark, the person doesn't say, "Ooh, I forgot my scarf I choked her with. Let me," they
Didn't
typically
find-
leave the rope or anything
She
with
says her response also was, I cut the skin to look underneath the skin
them. Okay.
because sometimes the bruising doesn't show through. But she says she didn't find anything there either.
But there was vomit and blood.
The vomit and blood, yes.
So that tells you there's something mechanically going on.
So they ask her, they says, well, what did you find that contributed to the cause of her death? The pathologist says on the inside of her mouth, at the base of her tongue back there in her throat,
Yeah.
there was torn tissue inside of her mouth.
Okay.
And the lines was going up and down. It was cut like,
So she's trying to get it out, whatever it was in her.
yes,
parts
either
of
she
it.
was trying to get it out or
'Cause she's
something went
choking on
in.
something. Yeah, something went in and she's trying the back and forth.
Something went in. I'm going to tell you that
Yeah.
already. Something went in her mouth and tore that tissue. That's why it was hemorrhaging and bleeding in there. And she was intoxicated. She was 1.3 alcohol intoxicated. There was testimony that she would fall all the time, and people would pick her up and help her back up to her apartment and let her sleep it off.
Really?
Yes, there was testimony to this.
Testimony.
Testimony.
Things that you wouldn't know because you do not know her.
No, I didn't know. So now, what had happened was, they said the detective said the only two things unusual about the crime scene is when we turned her body over, we found a broken pair of eyeglasses underneath her body. The second thing unusual that they found was a Tupperware container of crackers on the floor near the sofa and the door.
Okay.
Okay.
So if it's ligature strangulation, that means there's another person there. They didn't find any footprint evidence. They didn't find any forced entry. That it's just, it doesn't add up.
Okay. Now.
Yeah. Wow.
What had happened, in my opinion, is the lady was drunk. She was taking her bowl of crackers to the living room to eat on the sofa, to sit down at the sofa and eat. She falls. When she fell, her glasses went in her mouth and she hit the floor. And that's what tore the tissue inside of her mouth. That's why the cut was going this way.
That's so interesting because
and she laid on the sofa with her face in it and coughing and bleeding and swallowing this blood, and she threw up, and that's how the lady died.
That crime scene doesn't even look like it would be even a murder for anyone.
Well, the reason they said, the reason
what
they said the crime scene looked as though someone ransacked her apartment.
Was it or did the Rampart Division do it?
Now,
let me shut up.
Okay. Oh, and they also said that she was raped, and they had DNA. They had DNA.
Did they though?
Yes, they had DNA. They had DNA. They found semen. They found hairs on her body.
Okay.
They found saliva on a beer can that was in the living room. And fingerprints on the beer can.
Okay.
They had all this. They charged me with rape, and the whole argument was when they were giving the jury all this stuff, they were telling the jury the same person that strangled her to death is the same person that raped her.
And this is before DNA evidence could really be looked into. And
yes.
Fingerprints could have, but yeah, this is before that time.
Okay, now, when I was in prison, the whole time I was in prison, I was writing everyone, the Innocence Project, Loyola School of Law. I was writing all these colleges, trying to get them to help me and look into my case and what have you. No one didn't have the time. There was all caseload. They was backed up and what have you.
Right.
So finally, I get to the point, well, I don't even want to get to that yet. But
okay.
I want to get to the other part because I'm missing some parts in here.
You're trying to throw a lifeline. You're like, somebody please take a look at this. Because like I said, now they could do forensics, right? DNA, tested lab, da-da-da. At that time, you're just like, this is like a bad nightmare. This is a bad joke. Like, when is someone going to say, hey, we're just joking? Because all of it's not really adding up. How they implicate you is... somebody had to implicate you to get your name and find out you were at a hospital.
No. Oh, I don't know how they found that out.
So somebody said something.
Find that out.
Because if your name came up, right, and they found you at a hospital and knew you were in that area, something fishy was in between that too. So, Mr. Mark, wherever you are, you might not be telling the whole truth. You might have said what you did say.
I thought they was probably looking for me before I got shot up.
Yeah.
See.
But but how did your name even get thrown in the hat? And I'm thinking,
Hubbard. When he said that my response was the old white bitch got what she deserves.
Yeah.
That implicated me.
Yeah.
That's what implicated me. All right. Now, the DNA stuff, I'm going to finish that off right quick. Okay.
This is interesting, but
Now, they had all of the DNA evidence that I told you about. So all this time in prison, I finally come to my senses and I think about it. I say, damn, now the technology that they have for DNA, if they test that DNA, it would free me right now.
Oh, yes.
It would free me right now because they can determine your spit now.
Oh, anything.
Okay.
They can use familiar. They can use your daughter's DNA to match it. Yeah.
So I write the courts. I wrote the court, the judge. I wrote him and asked him, sir, is there any way possible I can get this DNA stuff, all this DNA evidence that y'all have against me, get it tested? I wanted it tested. The judge wrote me back and he told me, okay, we're going to give you a lawyer. He sent me the name of the lawyer. How did you
feel in that moment? How did you feel in that moment, seriously?
I felt relief. I felt, I know I'm going.
Because you're like, somebody responded to me.
Yes.
And they're going to look at some DNA.
Yes.
Let's go.
Yes. So when I got the letter back and it's telling me that they're going to give me a lawyer, they gave me the lawyer's name. I got immediately on the phone. I called her. And she says, well, all I'm going to do is get the DNA stuff tested. And I said, that's all I'm asking for. Yeah. I don't want you to do it. She says, anything else you have, any other issues you have, I can't help you with none of those. I'm just going to try and get the DNA evidence tested. And okay, that's all I want, ma'am.
You're
that's
like, I'm putting my faith in you, one, to not be corrupt and screw me the fuck over.
Yes.
Two, to do this while I'm inside incarcerated.
Yes.
Okay? I know it feels good to be free. I want to be where you're at. Can we get this done?
You know, it took her 5 years.
I'm leaving. Get out of here. 5 years?
5 years to get back to me with all the paperwork showing me that the detectives destroyed all of the DNA evidence in 1993.
Isn't 1993 what year?
1993. Now,
that's when a lot of that scandal.
Why in 1993?
Because that's scandal.
It's because they gave me a co-defendant. Yes, they gave me a co-defendant. They gave him 25 to life. They gave me life without the possibility of parole.
Who is your co-defendant?
Willie Thomas. They gave me a co-defendant. They gave him 25 to life. He kills himself in prison in 1993.
So they've got to destroy the evidence.
That's why they destroyed that DNA evidence in 93.
So they wanted a 2-for-1 black man lock away.
Yes, but they didn't want it when that modern technology started coming out about how they coming up with all this DNA stuff and what have you. The detective knew that was the only thing
indicator,
that was concrete that we can get out with.
And the technology was ready for it. Damn.
They destroyed it without a court order.
You can't destroy evidence without a court order.
They destroyed everything without a court order.
But this was Rampart, so they were stealing cocaine and money and all kind of shit at that time. They were fucking
Now, remember
crazy.
I told you that they told the jury, don't believe their witness. Believe what the detective wrote, he said. Okay, now, during my trial, there's these two detectives that's under investigation for having two Mexicans, sign confessions giving details to two double murders. They gave details to two double murders, and they had signed those confessions. But when those two essays go to trial, they find out that they were in prison at the time of them double murders.
At the time of because they'll coerce you, right? Okay. So they'll we know there's corruption.
They deported the two Mexicans to Tijuana right quick so they couldn't file suit against them. But come to find out, the same two detectives in that case was the same two in my case.
Corrupt. I'm sure there was more to that story.
How did they get details? How could someone give details to a double murder with signed confessions to it and all if they were incarcerated at that time? You can't. Who put them details in there?
We all know.
the detectives had to put them details
And they
in
know
there.
how to write it, and they're not going to fact check it to see if it's two guys that are Cholo Mexican guys from, you said, Tijuana. They probably don't have the best written grammar in English, and then you could tell if a detective wrote it or someone else wrote it.
Yeah, I have the newspaper clippings.
Oh yeah, I
From that.
remember. I remember when the Rampart, when everything happened at Rampart, it was serious. They were like selling drugs too, and I quote: I read the articles. They were selling cocaine that they were getting in evidence, doing it, stealing.
When that
drugs.
all came out, they assigned a task force to handle that Rampart investigation.
Yeah.
Okay,
the chief
all
of
that
police
scandal.
went down.
I wrote them because I said, "Ooh, they're under investigation. Now is my chance because I've been telling them this is wrong and shit." So I wrote the task force that they assigned to handle Rampart investigation. They wrote me back and told me that they couldn't help me, and I said, "Why?" They said, "Well, because it happened before 1993,
But
and
oh my gosh.
we're not getting paid for it."
Well, of course they're not getting paid for it. It's a whole bureaucracy. That's why they do cases like that too, because they need to just close them. So they'll just blame anyone. They'll blame black and brown people. That's what they do. They know who the minority is in this country. I have brothers. I have three older brothers, and I have a dad who is black. Okay, I mean we're part Native and part Irish, but all three of my brothers have been to prison. My dad has been to prison. My uncles have been to prison. So I know. Some not wrongfully accused, but they gun for a certain minority because our lack of knowing the laws. Now it's different, right? Because we've got smartphones and we've got these shows that teach us things. But at that time, it was just everything was targeted us, the media, everything. It was like this really big divide and like supporting their special interest jails, making rich white people and politicians richer. I'm saying it on the record because I don't care, and it's the truth. And these special interest groups need these prisons filled, so they will mishandle your case, especially if you're a minority, because you don't have the money to get the correct lawyer and keep funding that for years, and to have the correct legal representation or even knowing the law. They exploit that in our minority communities. It's just fact.
Now, how is it that I can sit there during all of this and not say a thing? I'm going to tell you why. At preliminary hearing, when they arrested me, what have you, they had me in the mental ward hospital part, okay? Whereas it was the mental ward is what it was, the mental ward, 7,000 floor up there at the county jail at that time. And they were giving me pain medication and psychotropic medication.
Oh, they're going to give you
as well.
psychotropics. They're going to give you all that. They want you to be quiet.
But now, when we go to prelim, the attorney asked the judge, "Your Honor, I'd like to get an order to send Mr. Butler to USC Medical Center, and they give me a report back of his condition because I seen some things that makes me wonder whether or not he's competent to assist me in his defense." Okay.
Interesting.
That's what the attorney tells the judge. The judge says, "Okay, I'm going to sign an order forthwith that Mr. Butler be evaluated at USC Medical Center, and they give me a written report back of his condition because we can't have a man going to trial where they be mentally or physically incompetent."
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what the judge says.
By law.
I leave the courthouse. When I come back to court, the judge asked the attorney, "Mr. Butler seen a doctor yet?" Her response, "No, he hasn't, Your Honor." The judge jumps up. "What do you mean? He hasn't seen a doctor yet. What do they think we're running here?" And he leaves his bench and he goes in his chambers. He's in there for like maybe 6-7 minutes. And he comes back out and he tells my attorney, he says, "Look, I called the county jail and I spoke with a nurse there, and she told me that they've done all they can do for Mr. Butler. And they went right on with trial.
And they are not USC Medical Group, though.
Correct.
They are.
They're detainees.
They're appointed by the jail, and then it depends who saw you. Did a psych doctor see you?
The county jail is not USC Medical
It's
Center.
not USC Medical
It's not a
Group.
physician.
So if you need a further out, I mean, a lot of this stuff has changed now, but then it's horrible. That's terrible. They should have sent you to USC.
Because they said they had me in the mental ward because I was trying to commit suicide.
No, because the other guy did, and they were scared
They were giving me all this psychotropic medication and what have you. And the bailiff would come out sometimes, in the transcripts now, the bailiff would come out and tell the judge that he don't think that I'm coherent. And they would postpone it until the next time.
Yeah, because they probably would time the medication, probably. You know, corruption exists. It exists.
But the judge should have stopped it right then when she says there was no injury there.
No injury?
No, she based strangulation on the absence of the injury.
Ay, ay, ay. I mean, typically when someone's strangled, you could see a bruise. You could see red.
Yes.
You could see, like, when my necklaces are too tight, and I'm a chocolate sister, you could see it.
The reason they use ligature strangulation is because that itself shows intent.
Intent of a murder.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what shows the intent. But they didn't have anything there to show that.
And who knows who's... It just doesn't add up. You know, there's more questions than answers.
And then I found... Over the years, I was going through all the paperwork, but I never ran across a little piece of evidence that was in their records.
So
they had a diagram of the broken glasses. They just drew it on a piece of paper. The broken part of this right here, this stem, it was broke off, and it had jagged edges on both sides of it. Okay, and they drew a diagram on it. It's in the paper. They said the broken glasses. I have the paperwork. I have it.
Wow.
I have the injury that she marked on the inside of the throat, and it's
but
going
you know,
up and
that's
down.
not, it's clear to see that it was possibly that, right? And they probably went in and ransacked. I mean, this was Rampart. They used to plant crack and stuff on people. Let's not go there. Anyway, they could clearly see, but they want to make this a sensational case and put more people behind bars. So how does this affect you? So you go 5 years just to get an answer to tell you that the DNA's destroyed. The other man has killed himself. How do you feel at this time? Because I would feel utterly hopeless.
Well,
how did you cope?
I didn't think about it.
Okay.
Because I was there for so long until I've already set my mind on I'm going to die here.
Wow.
I set my mind on that because nothing would working. Nothing moved. Nothing was working. But now after I got that report back that they destroyed all the DNA evidence in 93, he kills himself in 93. The Rampart Division won't help me because it happened before 93. And I'm thinking, well, damn. 3 months after I got that report back, I'm out on the prison yard, and they call me to the office. I go to the office, and this is white guy sitting behind the desk in this little room. And I pull up in there. He says, "You Mr. Butler?" I say, "Yeah." I say, "What's up?" He says, "Well, I'm lawyer so-and-so, so I'm the attorney, woo, woo, woo. And I'm just here to let you know that we're going to cut you loose." And I look at him, what? You serious? What?
What year is this?
This was in 85. 2025. 24. 2024.
Wow.
2024. He tells me, we're going to cut you loose. And I look at him, what? I'm thinking, it's running through my brain. Wow. What is he kidding me? I say, you serious?
How did you? I would have passed out.
I almost did.
I would have just been like,
I almost did.
Damn.
Now,
What was the rationale?
he
What was the
tells
reason?
me,
Okay.
after he tells me this, this is all going through my head. It's spinning.
Oh, yeah.
All kind of thoughts is going through my brain. What is he talking? Is he pulling
Is this
my
a
leg?
setup?
What's
What
he
is going
trying to
on?
do? Yeah, what the hell's going on here? And I says, why? He says, well, the DA and I decided that 40-some years is enough time for you being in prison. And I look at him. Why? And it's running through my brain again. Why in the hell should he be worried about me? How many years I've been in here? If I got life without the possibility of parole, what is he concerned about how long I've been here?
Right, right.
So I'm thinking, oh damn, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Totally. You're like, dude, come on.
So
dude.
I just
Dude.
went along with it. I says, well, where do I sign?
Where do I sign?
He says, well, no, you don't sign right now. Tomorrow, we're going to take you to court. After you leave court, then we're going to release you and you can sign the paperwork and whatever then. I said, okay. The next day come, they got me in this little room again with this screen video thing.
Yeah, because now
I'm in the courtroom.
We've got technology now.
Yes,
so
I'm at the prison, but
Yeah.
I'm on this screen and I'm in the courtroom on this screen. So afterwards, I asked him, after the court then made his order releasing me and what have you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. What he told me, I said, well, what's up? He says, well, we're going to release you under 2 conditions. I said, 2 conditions? Oh, shit. What 2 conditions are those? He says, the first one is you have to go to a reentry program for 6 months.
Okay, because you have to re-enter into society. That was something probably newly
And
added.
I think about it right quick, and I said, oh, that ain't nothing.
Yeah.
I said,
it's
what's
better
the
than
second
here.
one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I said, what's the second one? He says, you'll be on parole for 2 years. I said, yeah. I said, oh, okay, no problem. And that's when I told him, well, where do I sign? And that's he tells me no tomorrow. So after court, I asked the attorney again. I asked him, I said, excuse me, sir. Would you tell me why y'all really releasing me? The man looked me in the eyes and he says, Mr. Butler, if I was you, I wouldn't be looking a gift horse in the mouth. And it stunned me for a minute because I'm trying to run this through my brain. What the hell he mean? Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And I thought about it for a second, and he's telling me, don't worry about what we've done to you. Worry about your life from now on. That's what he meant. Okay? The next day, I'm out of there. They took me to the reentry program on 24th and something down.
So what prison were you in?
I opened up like 4 different prisons, and I was in about 7 different prisons altogether. Maybe 8.
Oh, prison life is not fun.
Yes, it's not. And when you open them up, they're really no fun because everyone's trying to get their turf. Everyone's trying to claim, and it's a lot of politicking. And
oh, absolutely.
You know
Absolutely. Whites with whites, Mexicans with Mexicans, blacks with blacks.
There you go.
I have not been to prison. But like I said, I have family that has. So, oh my gosh, this is a very impactful story. So you end up at this reentry program. Yeah. Okay.
I'm there for like 3 weeks. I'm there. When I get there, the only thing I'm trying to do is get to the coroner's office because I got the coroner's report and I know that it's false. Because of what I just told you about what
absolutely.
she wrote.
Yeah.
But I want to get some confirmation.
Yep.
So I want to take my coroner's report to the coroner's office and ask one of them, is this logic? Is it logical that this happened like this?
I think they messed up when they did this to you because you seem like a very educated man.
So what I did is I called my ex-wife to come and take me to down on Mission Road. That's where the coroner's office, the main coroner's office is down there.
Yeah.
So she shows up with my granddaughter, and they're taking me to Mission Road because I had to sign out. I had to get a pass for that day.
Right.
So I sign out. On the way there, I feel ill.
Oh, no.
I felt ill.
Oh, no.
I tell her, I said, Charlotta, I said, take me to Martin Luther King Hospital because I'm feeling real bad right now.
I don't know what's going on.
Yes. So she made a U-turn and we went to Martin Luther King Hospital. We got there like at 10 o'clock that morning. At about 2 o'clock, they was releasing me. But they had gave me shots and pills
and discharge
and all this
papers
stuff,
and
right?
all this stuff and
Yes.
your medication to
They
possibly
gave me
refill.
the paperwork on
Yeah,
everything that
absolutely.
they've done and the time that I arrived
Your
to the
discharge-
time that I left.
You went through the ER at this time. It's all documented. Yes.
Now, I go back to the re-entry to the halfway house, and I tell them, I said, look, I had to go to the hospital. Okay, here's the paperwork to show that I went to the hospital and whatever. They say, oh, that's no problem, but you should have notified us to let us know that you was deviated from where you were supposed to be going.
So when I'm passed out on the floor dead,
Yes.
I'll notify you guys. Thanks. Thanks, guys.
She says, but that's no problem. She says, we want to test you, though.
But you have all the paperwork
I
from
said,
the
okay,
hospital.
test me for what? To see if you had any drugs or alcohol in it. Okay, well, come on with it.
I mean, but anything could pick up in a test like that if they've given you meds and injections.
But now, here's what happens. The guy, they sent him in, he gave me a little jar. I pissed in the jar, put the top on it, and gave it to the dude. He leaves. He comes back maybe 4 minutes later, and he says, there's dirty. I'm like, what you mean dirty? Dirty with what? He says, you have alcohol in your system. I say, ain't no way in hell. Ain't no way in hell. He said, well, yes, that's what, this doesn't tell a lie. This is what you have. This is what it's showing. And you see it. I said, no. Test me again. Well, we can't just, no, you test me again. And I want to see it. I want to see it. They didn't want to do it, but I convinced them after I kept arguing with them. I pissed in the jar and he sit right there. And I'm watching him the whole time. He take out this little white thing and he sticks it in there.
Yeah.
And he pulls it up. He says, yes, you still have alcohol in your system. I said, no, something's wrong. That's incorrect. I don't need no alcohol. I'm not going to jeopardize me being out after 3 weeks for some alcohol. Ain't no way in Hades.
Yeah, after you went to the hospital, too.
Okay.
That's like...
But now, they tell me, they says, look, Mr. Butler, don't worry about it. We're not going to do anything to you.
Yeah.
There's not going to be any consequences for this or whatever. This is just going to be a warning. I said, oh, okay, well, okay then. But I still want to get that checked out. I want to go to the hospital and ask them what's going on. If they gave me something that would show alcohol. Whatever,
right.
They tell me, they says, well, we're not going to do anything. Understand us now. Nothing's going to happen to you. But we need you to sign this paper here. I say, sign a paper? What paper? Saying that you had alcohol in your system. I can't sign that.
No, and then if that's the case, they needed to contact the hospital too.
Yes. I can't sign that. You're refusing to sign it? Yes, if that's the way you want to put it. Well, if you don't sign it, we're going to have to dismiss you from the program.
Wow. I
look at them. It's like 5 counselors in there telling me this. And I look at them and I says, well, y'all have to do what you have to do. But I can't sign that. Right then and there, they took my stuff and set it out on the sidewalk.
Something that they do commonly at those places.
Right then.
Because,
set it out on the sidewalk.
Because they don't have room, they don't have funding, and they wanted a reason. They
already got funded, so they had that money, and they want to get some more help so they can keep getting funds.
Yeah. They wanted a reason, and you gave them one, which was probably not a legitimate reason, but they could say, you know what, you walk too fast. You gotta go. That's basically.
Excuse me. So what I did is I called my niece that stays maybe 5 blocks from where I was. She comes and picks me up. We put all my stuff in her car and what have you. And I tell her, I said, look, take me to the parole office right there on 24th and Alameda. Take me there. because it was right near the
Show
place.
them all the paperwork. Tell them what happened.
Yes, I go there first. I know that's the first thing I need to do.
Yeah.
I go there and I talk to the PO and what have you, and she gets on the phone because now they have to find me another place to stay. Okay.
And
Another
they
reentry
don't
program.
have very many places to stay. They
Yes.
don't have very many spots.
But see, at that time I was in a wheelchair. Okay. And they had to find me a place that would accommodate
Wheelchair
me.
access and
Right.
all that.
So she couldn't find one. So she was telling me, well, she might have to send me back to jail or something until they find me a place. I said, well, is there any other choices here? She says, well, do you have someone that you can stay with until we find you a place?
Huh.
I said, well, yeah, maybe one of my daughters.
Shit,
So she
better
gets
than
on the
jail.
phone and she calls my daughter. My daughter is happier than a
She's
rabbit in a carriage
elated.
patch.
Yeah. She's elated. I'm like, yes, of course my dad can stay with me.
My daughter is happier than a rabbit in a carriage patch.
That part.
And I can see that the PO is a little smiling now too. And I can tell the way they're talking. They're talking like they're old buddies or something. You know what I'm saying? And so she tells me, she says, well, your daughter says that you can stay with her. So you can go there.
Okay.
Okay. And as soon as we find you a place, then you can go to the other place. I said, okay, that's fine with me. I'm happy too. Okay. So my niece takes me to my daughter's.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm at my daughter's for about maybe a month. They can't find a place for me still. So I told my daughter, hey, why don't you ask them, are they going to pay you for me being here? Because this is part of the reentry program.
Yes.
And it's being funded
The
for.
funds are acclimated for it.
Yes,
So
it's been allocated for.
allocated. There we are.
So she calls them and she asks them about it. The PO told her, well, she'll get back at her about it. She's going to look into it. The PO calls her back a day later and tells her, look, we spoke with the courts. They canceled the 6-month reentry program.
After 3 months?
Yes. After 3 months? No. This was like 3 weeks. I've told you, 3 weeks.
Oh, okay. So you were at your daughter. Okay, got you.
I was at my daughter's for about a month.
Okay.
But I was at the reentry program for 3 weeks. And then they sent me to my daughter's and I was there for about a
So
month.
after about a month of being your daughters, they're like, yeah, we don't want to do this anymore.
So
we don't want to pay her. So
yeah, that's why they says, well, that they contacted the courts and the courts canceled the 6 months reentry program part. But I'm still on parole for 2 years. I can go for that. I can go for that.
yeah, get home cooked meals and be with my family.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the PO was supposed to be coming to see me twice a month. Okay. A week after that, they call us and tell us that they're only going to see me once every 2 months.
Wow. Do you think it's because you're in a wheelchair or because you were not a threat? You were not a gangbanger? They had their
I don't
hands
know.
full by this time. They're like, look, this guy is like non-threatening. He was wrongfully accused. Like just.
I don't
So
know.
when they discharged you, not discharged, but when they released you, what did it say? Because I know, so I
just
have
said-
family members that have been in jail and they know people that have been locked up, wrongfully accused. One
Yeah.
of the guys, he is in his 50s when he got out. I think he was wrongfully accused for murder and he did almost about 30 something years and he was compensated.
Okay, the reason they did that is because they didn't say that I was exonerated.
Okay.
What they
close to the mic.
said is we're suspending your sentence.
So they gave you so you've got to look into that because can they suspend your sentence if they gave you life without the possibility
they gave me
of
life without
parole?
the possibility of parole.
Like
I didn't even
the
I didn't even go to the parole board. None of that. I never seen no parole board.
So you've
Never
got to
talked
get
to a
somebody
parole
that would
board
be
agent.
very interested in looking into that because they're just like, yeah, don't
Yeah.
look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yes.
And you know that means don't press your luck.
Right.
Don't ask no questions.
That's what it meant.
You need to get somebody to
That's
circle back.
exactly what it meant.
So you're today on the show, and thank you so much for your story. While we wrap this up, because you have a GoFundMe, right?
Yes. Yes.
So it's a GoFundMe for Charles Butler. Okay, just go to GoFundMe. Let me pull it up real quick. It says, help Charles rebuild after 42 years wrongfully imprisoned. GoFund.me/Charles hold 23 DEC. You could search for Charles Butler. We're going to put it under the episode as well for that link, because you need to get some funds in your pocket from this, and you need to get someone to kind of look into this a little deeper, because this shit sounds fucking funny.
This is what I'm trying to come up with, some funds in order to get a lawyer.
Funny as shit.
Because I spoke with some lawyers, and they tell me that they want funds.
Absolutely.
Before they even look into it.
Or if anyone sees this episode, he's been on another podcast with, what are they called? Hoodstocks.
Yes.
At Hoodstocks on YouTube and on Spotify. And I know there's some information there. And if anyone could reach out, we're not a huge podcast, but we have, we're on Instagram as well, and we'll post clips of this episode, but kind of keep getting your story out and keep getting the word out, because someone needs to look into this. I don't care what nobody say. I watch a lot of law stuff. I wanted to go to law school before I went to nursing, and it just stinks to high hell. And I think you still should be
One last thing I want to get out.
Yeah.
Now, they said that it said the old white bitch got what she deserves. They give me an all-white jury.
It's supposed to be a jury of your peers, too.
Yes. What do you think that white jury is thinking, had I said that?
Especially in the racial climate. I mean, they knew what they were doing. It was all orchestrated beautifully, like a fucking symphony. This is the America we live in, ladies and gentlemen. And I hope this episode is an eye-opener, because, like I said, I do have family that have been incarcerated for things that they've done. But I want to emphasize on the circumstances that were up against a lot of Black communities and a lot of brown communities, a lot of people that are immigrants that they say, oh, you have the rights here in America, but don't necessarily have the rights. There's an imbalance in the justice scales. And this is an episode that touches on this. And I'm very glad that you're alive to tell your story. You didn't succumb to anything like the other brother did. And you're here. I saw the comments in the other podcast and what they're saying, and the respect you're getting from the people and community in the Black and brown community, which is great. But I want someone white or Jewish influence. I'm sorry, I speak candidly. With some influence to take a look at it. We're not saying to run with it, but if you can run with it, take a look at this, because this is like the Innocence Project, the thing that little Kim Kardashian was doing with people that were wrongfully accused. There's people that say, I'm innocent. I was in the car with him. I didn't pull the trigger. I handed him a gun.
Right.
No, you know what I'm saying?
Like that.
Yeah,
Nothing
no. I don't know what the fuck is going on. From jump of them questioning you in a bit. The protocol is for you to get discharged and get pulled down to say, hey, Mary Jane, okay, yeah, we need you to come to the station and ask you questions. You should have been offered a lawyer. Everything was misfucking handled. And I'm not against
the lawyer they gave me was even mishandling it.
Yeah, of course. And I'm not against no, I am against the system. I will say fuck the system once in a while, because that's my politics, and I come from a political background in my family. But not everyone's corrupt, because I have people, close friends that are, in my family, that military and law enforcement too. So it's not a whole wash, but the system is corrupted, the special interest groups, and it impacts people's lives, and you should be compensated. That's all. You sleep better with a couple million.
What makes it so bad for me, and what I hate the most, is the pathologist. Why did she lie like that?
Yeah.
Why did she have to? Was she trying to help the officers? Did they ask her to do them a favor?
Yeah.
What was it? It had to be something.
Yeah.
Because without her testimony, no one caused this woman's death.
Yeah.
She choked on her own vomit.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why they found her face down in the sofa with throw up and blood in her and up under her face.
And this is there's so many elements to this that raises more questions than answers, and I hope to God you get all the funds and all the help that you need. You know, we manifest things here, we bring things to fruition in here, and I'm putting it out here, and I hope that you get the resources, the funds, the people, the lawyer, the money, whatever you need to get this really kind of looked at. Because, you know, they look at cold cases. I see it all the time. They look good. White girl died. She was so beautiful. Okay, yeah, we get it. Okay, this is our society now. White centric. We get it. And that is being dismantled in some respects. But some emphasis on cold cases, yours could be almost considered like a cold case because it's like you're forgotten in the system.
Yes.
If you didn't keep pressing the gas, it wouldn't have got any traction, and we'd have been not having this conversation today. So I
Yes.
want to thank you for not giving up on your life
I haven't, and I'm not going to give up.
and for
I got to
keep
moving.
going and for coming in here in your right mind,
Yes.
and still killing it despite someone trying to bring you down. But this was another episode, very deep episode, you know, of Harmony and Hustlin. Our guest, Mr. Charles Butler, thank you so
for having me.
much for telling your story and keeping it real in here. And, you know, he survived 43 years behind bars for a crime he didn't commit. And today you're reunited with your family.
Yes.
And you get to
that's
sit
marvelous.
and talk to us about it. That's the difference. You weren't killed in prison because people die there too. You weren't overdosed on whatever meds that they were giving you. So in this episode of Harmony and Hustlin', the truth does matter, voices matter, and silence is no longer an option. I'm your host, Stargirl, and until next time, stay aware, stay human, and stay fighting for what's right. Okay? And
That's
Mr.
right.
Charles Butler is also on Facebook. So look him up. And if you can support him, please do. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much.